You're listening to the Abundance Attitude Podcast, where you will cultivate the mental attitude that unleashes the abundance already inside you. I'm your host, Leah Pearson, manifestation expert and personal development obsessed, and your spiritual mentor. Think of this podcast as your daily dose of personal development, mindset, and the place to develop the faith, belief, and certainty in yourself and manifesting your desires. If you're ready to not just learn manifestation, but master it and live a life of abundance, you're in the right place. With that being said, let's dive into this week's episode. Hello, abundant souls. Welcome back to another episode of the Abundance Attitude Podcast. I'm your host, Leah Pearson, coming at you for another episode this week. How have you guys been doing? I'm good. I am in a deep season of business where I am creating so much, working behind the scenes with clients and students while also developing new things coming to the Abundance A, as well as up-leveling, expanding, and rebranding my signature program and course, I should say personal development and manifestation program and course, Abundant Soul Academy. So I've just been in deep creation mode with my personal coach, and we're just kind of going ham at the moment. So episodes might be a little sporadic, but I'm in a lot of places. So if you also if there are any topics that you guys want me to go deeper on as far as, self leadership, personal development, manifestation, mindset, accomplishing your goals, feel free to always DM me and reach out to me on Instagram at The Abundance Attitude, because I am here for you guys, for your growth, for your support, and help and lead and walk with you towards those big desires, because that is literally my mission here. And so if there's anything that you guys want me to expand on, you guys are just confused on, or you're just like, please explain this, or whatever it is, I'm always there in the DMs talking to you guys, because I would just really love to know that. So um, with that being said, this week's episode is an exciting one because it has to do with my signature framework. My signature framework is called Faith, Belief, and Certainty, and it allows you to make manifestation a conscious way of life. So think about less steps and just more of a way of being, understanding, integration, and living while the manifestation process is going on, okay? Because remember that manifestation is an ongoing energetic process that's always happening. It's always co-creating with you. And so it's important to, I know for me personally, when I first started my manifestation journey, I was just always so confused, okay? I was always just like, how do I act as if when my reality just looks so different? Like, am I being positive enough? Like, am I doing this right? Like, should I say affirmations? Like, should I meditate? Should I journal? Like, how do I raise my vibration? Like, all of this kind of like buzzword and lingos just had me like so confused. And that's why I took it. And I just knew I had this like innate pull that manifestation was something that I wanted to use. I don't want to say use, I want to say understand and work with to get to my goals, right? I knew that personal development and mindset were like the name of the game in success, okay? Because I've always been into personal development, and of course, this is what kind of landed me in the manifestation world, because coming from having a biology degree and seeing manifestation, for some reason, I just had this like weird innate pull that everything was like connecting on a scientific level, on a uh, psychological level and spiritual level. I just saw the overlap in all of that, right? And so, long story short, this is what's led me to this week's episode, because I asked myself, I said, okay, act as if, right? Because manifestation is not really about what you want, okay? It's not about what you're thinking. It's not just about being positive. It's not about the crystals you buy. It's not about if you journal or meditate. It's truly about who you are, okay? Because if you don't know, I define manifestation as your life unfolding based off the energy of you, because that's truly what's happening, and it's happening no matter if you believe in manifestation, know what manifestation is, know what any of the universal laws are. It's an ongoing process creating reality, just like gravity is ongoing all the time when you're not thinking about it, okay? So I was just like, I don't really like all of this like steps. So for some reason, it just didn't resonate with me. And so I was like, okay, let me look at what is the common denominator of manifestation, right? What is the common denominator that all these people who are powerfully manifesting, as in they've manifested some like big things in their life, just not like a free coffee or a butterfly or an amazing parking space, right? Because when you get into manifestation, a lot of blogs and teachers and mentors or whatever say like, oh, like do this for a free coffee and stuff. And those things are good because you obviously want to like get your feet wet into how powerful you are and how much control you actually do have, like what's coming into your life. But the steps for me were kind of just landing on that. I was just like, okay, but like how do I quantum leap my income? How do I manifest my fiance? Like, how do I manifest my dream home? How do I manifest my whole dream life? And good coffee and free coffee is probably part of my dream life, but it's definitely not my entire life. You know what I mean? So many teachers out there, like I said, tell you know what you want, and they become the version of you that has that thing. Okay, and that is a fundamental truth of creating your life intentionally. You have to become a new person to create and manifest a new life. And also, this is just a side note. This is not in my notes, but if create, because I've kind of played around with this in the past 6 months or so, and I've kind of like I felt more lighthearted in my intentional manifestation approach. If create sounds like weird to you, or like you just like it just hits you in a way that you're just like, oh, I have to create something, right? Because there's words, kind of like the words like expensive or lose, like I have to lose weight, like losing something, like to your subconscious, like it has a meaning attached to the word. So sometimes create, your subconscious is like, oh, we're going to have to create something that involves, work, sacrifices, and like you might have some like weird attachment to that word. So if you're kind of seeming like a create is weird, just remember that energy cannot be created or destroyed, and everything is energy. So that dream life that you are trying to quote unquote create, I just have to tune myself to that frequency. I just have to align myself to that frequency, because that dream life, because everything is energy, guys, everything is energy. That dream life that you want to quote unquote again create, it's already here, it already exists, because it's an energetic frequency. You're just not experiencing it, because you can only experience what you're in harmonious vibration with, right? So that was a side tangent, but if create is seeming kind of like making your energy being like, I'm over here and my dream life's over there, try playing around with, I'm just going to align myself, I'm going to I'm going to tune my frequency to that frequency, kind of stuff like that, right? Just remember, it's already here, and another version of you is experiencing that life. You just have to align to her, right? Unleash her, become her. So that kind of full circles to know what you want and become the version of you who has the thing. And so when I first started my manifestation journey, I was like, yo, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? How, if I want to create a multi-million dollar brand, how do I act like a multi-million dollar version of me when one, I don't even really know a multi-millionaire. I don't really know how they act. And if I was a multi-millionaire, I would be buying luxurious vacations and purses and you know, beauty products and clothes and spoil my family, and like how do I do that? How do I do that when the bank account is not that, right? So I was just like, what is the common denominator? and the people that are successful and the people that I want to be around and the people that I eventually want to have in my circles and be their colleague, essentially, right? And so this is what led me to my third part of my framework, and that is certainty, guys. It is all about certainty. It's the energy of certainty. But before I go on, just think about it. The frequency of being certain about something is so much different than the frequency of being, I think it might happen, kind of wishy washy. I like kind of want that. I like kind of want that. And I also kind of don't know if I can have it. Certainty and also, I think manifestation is happening, right? It's like certainty. And so I found that the common denominator of the energy of not only your past, your present, and what your future is going to be is certainty. The common denominator of everyone that has powerfully manifested things in their life is certainty. And so again, you're like, okay, well, how do I become certain about having $1 million? Well, first, I'm not going to really go into it in this podcast, but my third part of the framework, certainty, it's built upon the first two parts, faith and belief. Okay, and faith and belief come through understanding how your mind is actually working, how your soul and the essence of you actually stirs that desire in you, and how your conscious mind is impressing your subconscious mind, and how that being is what puts your body into a vibration, and then that's the actions you take. It's this whole process that I unfold in my containers and my courses. And then, of course, shifting what's possible for you and what you believe to be true about different areas of your life. Okay. And then you start to embody certainty, right? Because back to the $1 million, like certainty doesn't really mean if you want slash desire $1 million, then you start acting like that by, spending money that's unaligned, creating like, potentially like more debt or something. Um, it doesn't, to me, certainty isn't that. It can be, right? But before the reality shifts, before you have that in your life, certainty is via embodiment, right? Embodiment of trust, an embodiment of inner knowing, right? Because if you had $1 million in your bank account, you're certain that the $1 million is in your bank account. And when you're embodying that certainty, that's going to create a domino effect and align your beliefs, your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the version of you who has the $1 million before it shows up, right? And if you don't know, I call the energy of you your vibrational trademark. Okay, you have a vibrational trademark. It's coming off of you all the time. It's cells coming off of you, heat coming off of you, energy coming off of you, whatever you want to call it, that's leaving your body. If you get your picture taken with Kirlian photography, people call it an aura. And based off your beliefs and your thoughts and your emotions and your actions, based off mostly in the subconscious mind, the aura can change. The density of vibration changes. Now, for someone that is just maybe potentially a random person on the street, if you explain this to someone, they'd be like, what in the heck are you talking about? But the more and more you study personal development, manifestation, successful people, this is what they do. They embody certainty. They create alignment through that vibrational trademark via certainty. Because here's what happens, right? When you go to set your desire, your intention, you say, I know I want something. And just know again, that is literally the essence of you stirring something inside you, wanting to expand. The essence of you wants to expand. So having this desire is safe, it is destined for you. All right. And so many women just don't believe that their impossible can happen, right? Which makes sense, and it's kind of a paradox because we're taught to not believe in the impossible, because just think about the word impossible, right? The word impossible itself is literally telling you that it can't happen, right? And so we are already programmed to be like, I want the multi-million-dollar life. That's impossible for me, right? You're thinking that's impossible for me, which it's not impossible for other people because, we have billionaires, okay? But women, especially us, because we're emotional creatures, right? We have feelings. We really are in tune with how we're feeling. And as soon as we set those big desires, we just start, we just don't believe in our impossible. And and if you think about certainty in relation to impossible, those are completely different frequencies. And I give this example a lot, right? Because first of all, there are infinite realities. Okay, there are infinite realities that we can align to, that we can tune our frequency to. Quantum physics proves this. Okay, um, and the reality that you're living right now, the reality as in your life, you are certain about, right? You have certainty in the types of thoughts you have, the types of emotions you have, the type of actions and habits you have, and your belief system, right? You're certain about that. It's your normal, it's your familiar, it's your comfort zone, right? And we all love our ego and our subconscious mind and our self-image, like they're kind of all in one of the same. They like that certainty because it feels good. It's comfortable, right? And that's why it's such a dangerous place to hang out. That's why you need bigger desires to help you actually get inspired and grow, right? Make that the essence of you want to expand because, if you don't have a super inspiring desire and will to change, right? The will to change your life through inspiration, that comfort zone, even if you don't necessarily like the results you're getting, you're still going to hang out in the comfort zone because it's subconscious. It likes it. Okay? So we're certain. We have certainty in those things. We are certain, right? You are certain that you can walk into your kitchen and make a snack. You are certain that you can wake up and pull out your phone and you're going to know what time it is, unless it's dead. But you are certain that you're going to be able to wake up and dress yourself. You are certain that you can go into the bathroom and take a shower. You're certain that you can then brush your teeth, right? You're certain that you know how to drive a car. You are certain that you could go to the phone store and buy a new phone, right? The things that you have in your life, everything is a manifestation of from some sort of action you took, some sort of belief system you have, from the thoughts that you've had, from the emotions that you've had, right? Um, and so to create, so it's you're certain that you can go do those things, okay? And so therefore they manifest. So all it takes, this is what I teach you how to do, if you've ever been a client of mine or a student, to create certainty around your impossible, create certainty around the life that just hasn't been created yet and you haven't aligned to yet. And the reason why I do this, because again, it is, it's like you wake up and you're living in a small bedroom, um, a small apartment with one bedroom, and you want that $1 million. It's just like, how do I create that being, right? It's through certainty, it's through an inner knowing. And again, that's built on faith and belief because once you have a complete understanding of how manifestation actually works, how creation works, how your mind works, how emotional intelligence works, right? How, it's just not from thinking positive and it's not from, numbing the negative, right? You're allowed to feel your negative emotions and still and have a human experience and still create a multi-million-dollar life, guys. That's just there's the manifestation world and personal development world. That's why I want to disrupt it and allow you to see the true what true intentional manifestation is and how it can and work in your life because there's things you've manifested that have been amazing, right? I'm sure you can list so many amazing things that you've manifested in your life, right? Just think of any successes, the job you have, your partner, even your dog. If you're obsessed with your dog like I am, like Luke to me is a manifestation. Like your dog is a manifestation. And so, okay, you have all these great things. Well, you've been sad in your life before, right? And just because you're sad and feeling down or having a moment or something in your life isn't making you feel that great doesn't mean you're going to manifest all of these like negative things, okay? It's there's so many layers to manifestation. There's so many layers to calibrating to just a higher level of life, and becoming the version of you that is going to feel the best to you, right? I like to say that you're just in a fully expressed version of you. You can do that through just still feeling sad. And so certainty really has allowed me to stay the course, to keep going, to have this, again, embodiment of trust and inner knowing that that thing that I want to manifest, that the life that I am creating and have created, I have certainty that it's going to shift. It might not have happened yet, it might not have manifested yet, but it's going to. As long as I'm staying grounded and, that it's going to happen, looking at what I need to work on, what do I need to shift, how much, like, where can I embody more of, a different frequency, a different energy, what are my triggers, it's a full scope of looking at you, which is tough sometimes. Manifestation is not a cop out, guys. No one ever said it's going to be this easy peasy lemon squeezy zen skip and walk to the top, because it's not. But certainty allows you to stay in that alignment before the reality shifted. And that's the best part, right? You inadvertently become an energetic match because you become certain. So this is oftentimes how I quantum leap and how my students have quantum leaped, right? And so it allows you to also just not make, but allows you to practice and create this, emotional intelligence and this conscious awareness of kind of how you're thinking, instead of just waking up and just, letting all of these emotions wash over you, like, oh, waking up in my one bedroom apartment again. I have to go to my job and like I can't get out of bed and like blah blah blah. It's allowing you to actually wake up with excitement, wake up with enthusiasm, taking the time to nourish yourself, your mind, body, and soul, and just be a better version of you every day while still experiencing your humanness again, right? Still, allowing yourself to be, I feel anxiety still, successful people still feel anxiety, they have bad days, it's whatever, but still creating an energetic alignment while your like eyes are looking at something completely different. And that's the best part. And that is truly kind of the secret sauce, guys, of manifestation, because the only reason why some people are like, I didn't, they go their whole life, even if they know manifestation, even if they don't, and they don't create what they want to create, they don't live the life they actually wanted to live. Because I have a belief that everyone in the back of their head kind of knows and hears that voice and that whisper and that tingle of like more, right? I was talking to a coworker the other day and she's just like, yeah, I like started kind of looking into schools because like I just feel like I could do more, right? We all have these lapses of like, I think I can do more. And it's because we can't. Humans are, we're designed to expand, evolve, shift, and have more, just like nature. Literally just like nature. In nature, if you're not growing, the, if a tree is not growing, what is it doing, right? What is it doing? It's dying. And it's the same thing with us. That's why I also have a belief system. That's why so many people are on edge and anxious and just have depression and just seem down and are pessimistic and so angry. Like they just get angry at, someone cuts them off or someone beeps their horn at them or they have bad wait service or, their kids are screaming. They're just so frustrated and they don't know why. And it's because they've just suppressed that seed deep down inside them that the essence of them is trying to bring to the surface through desire, right? And it's okay. We're not taught this stuff. We're not taught to really look inward. We're not taught to go inward and say, what do I want to create, right? We kind of just get on these paths and placed in these boxes and we're just kind of like, oh, all the salmon are going that way. I'm going to swim that way too. And, it's like, and then we're taught like, look at that salmon over there doing their own thing. Like, how kind of weirdo salmon is that? We're all swimming this way, right? We're so conditioned to just like ignore those seeds of desires in us, like, and I truly think that's, and it causes discomfort because you're not in alignment with your true self. And that's why I just think everyone's just like so like all the time, right? Like just, and again, it's not their fault, but it is just it's an interesting thing to look at, right? It's and it's just kind of like this is the thing. It's just like really you have to just like really allow it to stir you and be like, wow, like this desire is in me for a reason. And if I create certainty around it, if I keep going the course, if I don't stop 3 feet from gold, if I keep shifting, if I keep expanding, if I keep playing in a different energy, I create this certainty, even though my reality looks completely different. I know it's going to change. Nothing's set in stone. Nothing is static. Nothing is stagnant. And so the more and more you play with this certainty, guys, it again, that's how it becomes a way of life. Because all of a sudden, the more and more you embody that inner knowing and trust, because at first it's going to feel weird. Again, it comes from faith and belief, but still you're kind of being pulled in the direction of like your old identity and your new identity. You kind of feel in this weird limbo, and it does make you feel a little cuckoo, like you're just kind of like, I don't like 1 minute you might feel one way and the next minute you're going to feel a different way. It's just because it's like this inner battle of the higher self and the old self. And until there's a tipping point that you stay in that course, you sit in that discomfort, right? Because it's going to be discomfort. You're doing things that you've never done before. That's what it takes to create something new. That's what it takes to create a new life. You have to sit in that discomfort, and it's an oxymoron because we're all taught, well, manifestate like this discomfort. This is not high vibe. This is not high vibe. So I must be doing something wrong. And so then they like just kind of stop doing the actions because they're like this doesn't feel good, and then they stop just, and it's just like they hit this wall, right? You hit this wall and you go back into the comfort zone and you don't really understand what this is happening. You don't understand this is happening, what's happening, right? And so it is discomfort, but if you're certain, you're just like, I know I can walk through this fire. All I have to do is sit in this discomfort, take my actions, doing my thing, work at it every day, work on myself every single day. It doesn't have to be this like monumental 360 shift, guys. You can have a tiny little shift. Maybe it's literally starting by, I don't know. For me, it was I used to get toothpaste all over my sink. As weird and like minuscule as that sounds. One day I was just like, "Ah, every time I go and look at my sink, like it doesn't make me feel good. I'm like, why am I being lazy? I can just like literally wipe it off. Like there's toilet paper right there. I can just like wipe off the toothpaste. And so I was just like, oh, like, this little tiny shift is like, okay, I'm going to keep my sink clean because the multi-millionaire version of me is going to keep their sink clean, right? Because everything is energy, and, a clean sink to me is higher energy than a dirty sink. Or it could be like making your bed. That's another thing for me. I started making my bed. I was just like, what are the small things, right, that I can become certain about in my multi-million dollar version of me? Right, that doesn't involve spending money that I don't have yet. That's like the whole, so that's why people get so confused, because they're like, how do I act as if, right? And they go to act as if, and before they even change their beliefs and emotions and thoughts, which create your actions, they try to just change the actions. Well, then they fall back into old habits and they're like, this doesn't work, I can't act as if, right? Because you have to look at your subconscious self image, and when you start to change that self image, then you create certainty, guys. You start to embody somebody else. And so you look at those small things, like how can I create certainty around that? And so again, it's just like you go to take the actions, and because you haven't changed that inner being, you fall back in old habits, and then you start creating the same result. So they're like, I don't know how to act as if. And then not only that, again, you're doing things. Okay, when I mean doing things, I don't just mean taking the actions. I also mean like doing shadow work, uh, doing forgiveness work. You are learning about the mind. And then yes, you are going to be taking different habits. You're going to be thinking different things. You're going to be, expanding what's possible for you, and you're going to be trying out different emotions, and like that's also discomfort. It's discomfort, right? Your subconscious programming. You're thinking of these new things. You're trying to be a certain way, and it's like going against that self-image I was just talking about, and that causes discomfort. And then people are like, I'm not high vibe. Oh my God. So it's learning to really truly walk this walk with a little bit of discomfort, and then immense gratitude, and becoming like my grass is green now, right? Because if the version of you, and this again creates certainty, right? If you can get to the place, which I do teach in Abundant Soul Academy, it's like literally 2 full weeks of this, um, where you shift into the place of my grass is green now, and you kind of take these blinders off of like, oh, like I didn't even see like how green my grass was, and I just kept looking at my neighbor's grass and wanting to be in that grass. But that also inadvertently creates certainty, and becoming you become an energetic match that much quicker the more you play in that, because obviously the version of you who's living their dream life, they're going to love their life, right? They're going to love their life now. And so you really have to create that practice of being in the energy of now, and my life is amazing now, and how you appreciate yourself and love yourself and this whole thing. um, and that is going to create an energetic match, having one foot in the gratitude and I love my life now, and it's also having another foot in desire, right? It's keeping your eye on the prize almost. Okay, so it's this dance. It's truly this energetic dance, and I want to say practice truly. Like it's not this like overnight snap your fingers like, oh, I know what I want, I act as if, and then I receive, because that's like what all the blog posts say, right? And again, I just like couldn't wrap my head around it, and that's why I created this third step certainty, and I realized how much of an embodiment aspect there is, and how much deeper it is than just quote unquote act as if on a certain or on a surface level viewpoint, and standpoint, right? So to kind of like bring all this in, right? It's sitting with yourself and saying enough is enough. Enough living and enough feeling this way, and I'm worth it, right? I'm worth to feel differently, to think differently, to be differently, and to have differently, because why not me, right? Why not me? Why not have an extraordinary life? Why not? Right? There's nothing wrong with that. And it's just you have to kind of like start playing in that energy of why not me, right? And I'm just being like, I'm holding myself to a new integrity, a new standard, and I'm taking a stand to create this certainty in my life, to learn how I can create a new life, to just do what I want to do, because this is my life, and I can't follow all the other salmon. I have to be the wayward salmon and say, I'm creating my life once and for all, and I'm staying the course. And truly, you do that through certainty, because it just allows you to kind of like tunnel vision almost. You have discomfort, you're going to walk through the fire, you're going to be okay. You're creating gratitude, and my grass is green now, and creating self love, and then you're like, eye on the prize, right? It's creating this like snowball effect of in energy and beliefs and emotions, and again, certainty. Okay. And when you and like what certainty does, guys, it's truly then it starts to create a emotion and feeling, like you feel it in your bones, right? You feel it in your bones. Again, like it's such a, just a funny little example, but like you can feel it in your bones. You are certain at bone level that you can go to the kitchen and eat something. That is what I help my students and clients, and what I've done. I you start to feel your desire in your bones, right? And when you feel it in your bones, you become certain because you've just played it in your head enough, right? And then now because you've played it in your head enough, and you've allowed that time and the energy to arrange, and you've gotten emotionally involved, then you're going to start feeling it in your body, right? And when you feel it in your body, you're truly going to have a mind, body, and soul alignment. And when you have the mind, body, soul alignment, there's just like it's game over. That's when you start leaning into the trust and to surrender, which does actually come from certainty a lot, but that's a whole other podcast I could talk about, right? Because it is divine timing. But the more you play in that energy, like you quantum leap when you can like become the energetic match fully, like fast. That's pretty much what a quantum leap is. But when you have that mind, body, soul alignment, it's literally game over, and you just stop. It's almost like you stop caring about when the desire is going to come. And so again, that also creates an energetic match through certainty. When you're so certain that it's going to come, you stop needing it. You're leading yourself through desire instead of need, and need is lack, right? And if you need it, you're not certain about it that it's going to happen, because there's that energetic misalignment, right? It's still kind of saying my desire's over there, I'm over here. And when you're in that place, all you can really get is the desire is still over there. But when you're certain not only about that it's going to happen, you feel that in your bones, but you're also have created that certainty around my life is good now, so I don't need anything more, right? Because right now you're like, no, 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 I do need it. I do need it. Okay, but like, do you need it? Right? I really hope I can like help you shift your mind around like, do you really need it, or is the desire just the cherry on top? And through certainty and through my grass is green now, you start embodying that version of you who's going to have the desire inadvertently. Because if you had the desire, again, you would think that your grass is green. You would be certain that the multi-million dollars is in your bank account, right? You wouldn't be worrying about it. You wouldn't be looking for it. You wouldn't be needing it. It'd be in your life. And so that's truly what certainty does, guys. It creates an energetic match. It allows you to walk through the discomfort, allows you to walk eye on the prize, and it allows you to start to love your life now and create that version of you. You start to act as if. And it's just so amazing. It's literally so amazing. I love it so much. So I'm going to wrap up this episode now. Um, but again, I would love to know if this helped you, if you resonated, if you had an aha moment or a breakthrough, or just you felt that shift in you of being like, oh, that's what act as if means. It goes a little bit deeper than just taking certain actions or like spending money, for example, like I was saying. And truly, guys, the energy of certainty is the common denominator of manifestation. It's that you are certain about the things in your past, you're certain about the things in your present right now, and you just have to become certain about your future, right? Um, and that's where the magic happens. And it's funny because I am gonna wrap up this now, but I had it in my notes, but then I just kind of like was channeling all of that information. Truly, I was gonna talk about how I was certain about my engagement ring that I've gotten. Because I think I've recently said that I got engaged in the podcast. I kind of forget, but my engagement ring, which was even better and bigger, I will say, than what I had. I didn't have it on a dream board, but I had like the exact ring guys screenshot in my phone from like September of 2020, and we got engaged in July of 2021. And I was like, oh my God, Gus, like I had the exact screenshot of the ring I wanted. Like it was just so crazy. And how certain I had to become to enable to get start building my house, which we are almost to the building permit on that front. Um, and how I, even though that it looked doubtful at times, I had no idea if like what type of ring Gus was inquiring about or whatever. He knew what I wanted, but again, like I had to instill that trust and inner knowing that was just like, no, like I know that I'm going to get the ring that I is my dream ring. And again, that certainty. And I this is a lot of money we're talking about to build a house. This is a lot involved, like realtor, all the lingo. I had to find land. I had to like do all this thing. I wanted to be in a certain county, and like all these things had to align. And there were times where we were like, should we put this on hold, if you've heard this story before? But again, I created certainty around it. I knew how my mind can place, I knew that I could place the desire emotion and get emotionally involved in my subconscious mind. And I knew that if I just was like, I am certain this is going to happen, and playing in that energy and feel it in my bones, play it in my mind over and over, I knew that the house was going to work out, and it did. I knew the engagement ring was going to be better than I imagined, and it was. So I just, I'll like, that was a very short-winded of the certainty and the energy that I created around those two things. But truly, like looking back, I was just certain, even though I had no evidence of the house working out. I had no evidence of finding the dream land, which is literally 4 acres in the county I wanted, in the country. We have neighbors, but they're not super close. I have woods behind my house. My dog can run in. Like we have a creek. It's like literally dream, like better than I ever imagined. And now I'm engaged, and now I'm doing this with my fiance. And like, um, again, like looking back, it was certainty, even though I had no evidence, right? And That's really what it comes down to. The common denominator of manifestation is certainty, and then built on faith and belief when there's literally no evidence of it working out. And the more and more you understand how your mind works, how vibration works, and how, how it creates the actions and habits in your life, the better off you're going to be, because you're going to start understanding yourself, and then you can just start kind of peeling back those layers, guys, and creating more certainty in every area of your life. Okay, so again, if this helps you, if this resonates, if you felt a shift, if it just helped you in any way, I would love to know. Okay, because again, that also helps me help you. And I just would love to connect with you guys. So you guys can DM me on Instagram at the Abundance Attitude if you are not following me. Um, you can go ahead and do that too. If you love, or if you're loving these episodes, leave a review, hit subscribe, because that also lets me know. Again, I just want the best feedback I can get from you guys in the community, so I can create the value that I want to create for you guys. Okay. So with that being said, I will see you guys. I always say see you guys, but I don't really know what else to say. I'm like such a nerd, but either way, I will catch you guys back here on the Abundance Attitude podcast, on the Instagram, in my Facebook community, wherever you guys connect with me. I will talk and see you guys soon. Thanks for listening to the Abundance Attitude podcast. Let me know if you liked this week's episode by leaving a review or message me on Instagram. If you aren't following me, you can find me at the Abundance Attitude. To tune in each week, you can hit subscribe, and until next week's episode, I am wishing you all the abundance.